figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show. He cares, he shares, he knows. The journey of our youth is in our control. So tell your family and tell your friends that the word on the street is we all should listen in. So let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show.
I got my own theme music.
Man.
Guess who's back? It's your boy, it's your man, it's Archie. Let's figure it out on the Archie Beslow radio show. You know, I can never start off my shows without thanking my mom and my dad, because without either one of those two, I wouldn't be who I am today. Also, glory go to God always. Today in studio, I ain't tell him this, but he was like one of my one of my idols growing up, man. And it's a blessing to have the opportunity to have a platform where not only can I help like families, kids, and communities, but I can also interact with people that made an impact on my life. And a lot of people don't realize the impact that they make on the individual life unless you actually tell them. So I reached out to my man, Brother Mike Graham, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself, you know, once we get into the show. But y'all know how I am. I like to speak my truth to people. It was back in 1984, and I can remember just sitting in front of the TV watching, you know, we all watch sports, and, you know, everybody always critiquing, you know, this dude, that dude, this coach, you know, money quarterbacking. But I'll never forget, and I was a true Hoyas fan, and still to this day, I would never forget sitting back at a young age. I think it was in 84, so I was, I think I was a junior up at Carroll High School. It was right before my senior year. But to see this dude get on the court and just give it his all, and you can call it what you want to call it. You can, I mean, some people say he was just, I don't know, whatever. All I know is I seen someone that he was loyal to his teammates, he was loyal to himself, and he was loyal to the mission. And a lot of us in this day and time, we're not loyal to a lot of our things that we should be committed to. Foreign family, your kids, your wives, your spouses, your girlfriends, your jobs. We're lacking loyalty. We're lacking commitment. We're lacking structure. We're lacking foundation. We're lacking God. You know, people, we talk about it, but we don't act on it. So watching that TV, when this guy played against Syracuse, and the effort that he gave, game in and game out, man. When I look at sports, I don't just look at sports from the aspect of watching sports and hoping that my team win. I come from a place of, I watch with every individual, from the players to the coach to the trainer to the referees to the scorekeeper. Everybody in sports, they are teaching us a lesson if we really pay attention to the lesson that's been given. People make a lot of gripes about referees making bad calls. Well, referees are human. People make gripes about your star players not making a game-winning bucket, or this whole thing about LeBron and Mike and all that. Can we please stop it? LeBron James is LeBron James. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Wilt Chamberlain is Wilt. There are so many people that came through the pro ranks, so many people that came through the college ranks, so many people came through the high school ranks, have their own identity, and they are their own people. So we got to stop making this, and I'm gonna let you get in a second, Mike. I get carried away on my show, man. I'm sorry.
You're exactly right.
But it's that whole thing that we talk about, that crabs, you know, the crab in the barrel type of thing. When you really think about it, it's crabs in the barrel when we're doing this sports talk. Because there's always somebody's hating on this dude, just like Steph Curry. It is what it is. The dude can ball out. My man, and we're going to talk about this dude too, Mike, because he's a spitting image of you now from back in the day. That's that Draymond Green dude. You can say what you want to say about him, but when I did my research from him, on the court, he's one way, but in the streets and family-wise, he's a totally different person. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my man. Many of you know him, Brother Mike Graham, man. Good morning. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
So, Mike, give the people a little bit of background Matter of fact, just introduce yourself, because a lot of my listeners, over 200,000 listeners that listen to us every Sunday, and a lot of them may not know who Mike Graham is.
Well, I'm here from the D.C. area. I went to school here at Spingarn, graduated in 1983. After that, I attended Georgetown University, played under Coach John Thompson, and in 1984 we won the national championship.
Amen. I see that, and I love it. And that's why Mike. Everybody wonder how I get my guests on the show. I get humble people on the show. Mike is being super humble, and that's what I like about it. Like I said, what I like about people, good people, and me and Mike talked prior to the show coming on about spirits. There are a lot of people that we can invite on the Archie Beslow show, but with me, it has to be a reason behind it.
Right.
And like I said, I followed you as a young adult, and I also followed you as even an adult. And the things that you have accomplished, man, as a human being, not as a star athlete, but as a human being, to me, speaks volumes to who you are. And a couple of things I want to touch on, Mike, and everybody knows this is a family, community, and youth type of show.
Right.
So what we trying to get from this particular show, Mike, is we want to give our kids, our youth, some type of direction, some type of instructions based off of how you and I came up. So if I say to you, Mike, what does foundation mean to you? What comes to mind?
Stability, commitment, family first.
Yes, sir.
That's important. Remember they used to say, well, they still say it, the village.
Yes, sir.
You need that village, When I was coming up and I would do something wrong, my mother would find out through the neighbors, or the neighbors would get on you. Or, my neighbor always had a paddle.
That paddle,
and use it on any kid on the block because he was given permission. So that's what we don't have today. It's totally different. DC, the world is totally different with these kids nowadays. I mean, if you look at all the school shootings and everything, it's I don't know, it's something that I really can't even, get a grip on,
right.
Get my arms around, because it's like, this is crazy. So, that's important to me. That's important, especially family. Family is number one, important. You learn everything. You learn your roots, your upbringing and everything through family.
So once again, I have my man, Brother Mike, in the studio. Give us a call at 800-450-7876. Again, that's 800-450-7876. We would love to, like for me, I tell you all the time, man, I love for people to call in and just thank my guests on their accomplishments and how they actually changed our lives as we watch them do what they do. So, Mike, another thing to me that I think people are lacking is loyalty.
Yes. It's a lot of people that's not loyal, and it depends on, to me, it's two phases of loyalty, because I've been loyal to some people and still got messed around. So, I mean, sometimes it's not always good to be loyal. You can be loyal to somebody who, really don't care. They can tell you they care, but then in turns, by their actions,
yes, sir.
Speak otherwise. But that's why I figure that people are not loyal like they used to be. Back in the day, my mother and grandfather and them, they grew up on the word loyalty.
Yes,
Their
sir.
word was it. But they told you they were going to do something, it was done.
Right.
You didn't have to ask. You didn't have to call in the middle of the week to remind them. So, I think that's what we're missing today, a lot of loyalty.
So, and my thing too, from my background, and loyalty can be on a smaller level, Mike, and it can be on a major level, and I'll explain that. Loyalty, for one, is being consistent and respectful to the people that take care of you or that look out for you.
Right.
You can be loyal to that person. On a grander, the bigger scale, loyalty is taking pride in yourself and realizing the loyalty that you want from someone else, you have to also display that loyalty to the next person.
It's called earning it.
There you go.
It's called earning it.
Mike, we got a caller. Let's go to the lines real quick. We have Brother Irk on the phone. Hello, Irk, you on the phone?
Hey, what's up, Arch?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, man?
Good. What you got for my man Mike?
Man, you got my childhood friend right there.
Okay.
We grew up together on 21st and Bennett Road. I ain't gonna tell you, he can take behind my heart too. We're gonna keep that a secret.
Okay. There you got me thinking now. What's happening, man?
What's happening, Mike? How you doing,
Man, I'm doing. Yep, I can't complain.
Big Tall from down 21st Street.
Oh, man. Where your folks at, man?
You know what? Don't you try that.
What's up, E? Man, it's been a long time since I seen you, man. Wow.
Archie, I told you I was going to get him. I told
Yeah, you got me. You sure did.
Hey, E, what was one of your fondest memories, man, of Mike, man?
I'm going to tell you one of my fondest.
Yeah, keep it, PG.
I definitely will. One of my fondest memories of Mike was, man, how he used to, my grandmother, for some reason, my grandmother gravitated towards him.
Okay.
And, you know, and he became like part of our family. He was a gentle giant.
We just talking about that, yeah.
You know, he was a gentle giant, and he was like a big baby.
Right.
And so he became part of our family, man. We loved him, we still love him, and we always will support him.
Outstanding.
Yeah, always will support him. Always will support him.
Hey, E, thanks, man. I love you too, man.
God, I haven't seen him in almost 20-something, 30 years.
Yep.
Yeah, he ain't changed. hey, E, hey, I was about to high five him when he came into the building. I was like, nah. I gave him a forehead hug, man. I just put my forehead on his shoulder, man. Hey, but E, I appreciate your call, man. We're going to get into this show, man. Brother E, can you hear me? E?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we gonna get into the
show. But I definitely wanted to say something about that Jordan and Kobe debate. That's crazy.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk. Let's speak on it.
I'm saying y'all keep talking about Jordan and Kobe. Have y'all forgot about Kobe?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, they forgot about Kobe. That's what I said too.
No, I'll just said it best. Y'all forgot about Kobe? He's a natural born assassin.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
And the thing about it, so once again, we don't uplift. We have to uplift drama.
Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody want to uplift the quiet assassins that put in their work.
Right.
But if it's drama filled, and think about it, not one time have you heard LeBron or Mike
say anything.
Thank you.
And respond.
Even joining that conversation. Mm-hmm. So now, like the boxing game, we know about boxing. Boxing, that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
But basketball, once again, and y'all know it's a youth station. I got to go there. We got to realize what we're saying as adults because our kids are listening to these conversations.
Exactly.
So what we're doing is we're taking the component of team out of the mix again.
There you go. That's it.
But you're talking about different eras, so you can't compare different eras.
That too. You can't.
That's not fair. Elgin Baylor was Elgin Baylor.
Right.
Man.
Pistol Pete was Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You can't compare different eras.
Hey, my man Gervin.
Yeah.
Finger roll. Come on, man. The sky hook with Kareem.
There you go. But they always want to talk about rings. Nobody says anything about Robert Horry. Robert Horry got 7 rings.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. And you can't name nobody else who got it. And he played a part on every team that he got the ring on.
For a reason.
Yep.
Listen, I'm going to let y'all go. Archie, thanks. It was good seeing you the other day.
My man.
Thanks for telling me to call. Hey, Mike, I love you. Get my number from Archie and give me a call, okay?
Okay, love you too, man.
Okay.
All right, be blessed, champ.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
We went to Carroll together.
Yeah.
he's like a brother of mine.
Yeah, man, that's my man, man.
So,
his grandma used to feed me all the time.
That's what it's, and to have those conversations, man. See, and even in the studio, how you can sit back and smile and just reflect back to how that impacted your life.
Yeah.
And in today's society, a lot of our young adults are not able to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as just sitting them down and sharing some of your stories.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us got wisdom and got stories that the kids want to hear.
Right.
But we're so busy trying to meet them. Okay, so let me rephrase this. It's cool to meet a kid where they are if you're trying to aid them in direction.
Exactly.
But you have go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead. I know. I see what
you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we have to engage them in wholesome and healthy conversation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be this if I hadn't have done this.
Right.
Your Uncle Melvin that now owns 2 businesses. These are the steps that Uncle Melvin went through. So now the kids going to be sitting in front of you in awe because all they ever wanted was solutions and directions and instructions on how to be good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So we're going to touch on, this whole loyalty thing, man, to me, man, I think
that's important, man.
It's important, Mike. And we got 4 minutes before we go on a break, so we're going to give a little bit.
Okay.
So coming up with your work ethics as an athlete, Mike, and we talking about a star athlete, what was your loyalty to you remaining focused in honing your craft?
My loyalty to me was my family, because I felt like at one time I really didn't play basketball just to be playing. I played basketball to stay out of jail.
Amen. Okay.
And it was around, my 9th grade year. I was the tallest thing in the school, but I wasn't playing no sports. I was on the street, getting high, robbing, stealing smoke hubcaps off cars, things of that nature because I had to eat. My mother was a single parent. She had 3 boys. So, by any means necessary. But, when I started playing the game and started really liking the game and see that where this game could take me, then I got serious about it, So my loyalty was to my family, helping my family to eat. So in order to eat, I had to really try to get good at this game on each level, from high school on up to college, to the pro.
Well, so what I've seen for you and a lot of kids, and I always tell families that I talk to, and hopefully after this show that someone will go back and show their son or even their daughters, the grit and the grind that you had when you was playing for the Warriors. And like I always say, it's not about the basketball piece. It was about the dedication piece. It was about you appreciating, Coach Thompson giving you the opportunity. It was about you appreciating your teammates that a lot of them turned out to be almost close to Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
You had opportunities where you were able to travel the country and just see different things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So this is what people don't get. You have to put in to get something from it.
Yep, that's it.
And the more that you want to put in, the more your results are going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So my thing is, and we're going to talk when we come back, that whole Sports Illustrated book cover, Mike, you still got to feel good about that.
Yeah, I do. I do. I remember one guy telling me, he was a classmate of mine, and he was telling me, "Oh, dude, I had a buddy from New York call me and said, you're going to be on the cover." I was like, that's bull crap.
Right.
That's what I told him. I said, man, stop playing with me. The guy's name was Andy.
Okay.
Come to think about it, yeah. And he was telling me, man, I'm serious, dude. You're going to be on Sports Illustrated. I was like, yeah, right. And I seen the cover, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that was amazing, So I right then and there, I sort of felt the urgency somewhat.
All right, so we got we're gonna take a commercial break. I'm in the studio with my man Mike Graham. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's cool. And I'll say it publicly, with my 200,000 listeners. I'm honored to have this dude to be in the studio side by side with me because he did not have to accept the invite to come on my show, and I'm honored. And once again, I thank God for giving me the platform and people believing in me to even. And I'm gonna tell you what Mike said, and we're gonna go to break. Mike told me when I reached out, he said, "Man, it's all about helping one another."
That's it, support.
That's how the conversation ended, man. And you don't know how that just makes me feel great to hear another grown man telling another grown man, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to support and help you."
That's it.
And with that being said, you listen to WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, WLDCnews.com. Information is power. This is the Archie Beslow Radio Show. Let's figure it out, and we'll be right back with my man, Mike Graham.
Yeah, I ain't seen in a long time. You gotta be good, man. Man.
Close your eyes.
All right, so like I said, we still live. Let's see what the good people talking about. Yeah, a lot of my Facebook people here. Let me see what they talking about. All right. Love this. Okay, Miss Angela, she loved the quote about loyalty. That is a huge piece. Trustworthy. Yep. What we got here?
One environment.
What we got?
A public service message from Earthshare.
See here. A lot of people. Okay, Eric. He said, "Tell him yeah, one of his childhood friends."
Oh, yeah.
He a good dude, man.
Yeah, he is, man.
Let's see. Oh, here it is. Beginning
So,
tested at age 50. At 50,
the thing that I want,
7 years before
that I think that a lot of people are missing out on, Mike, is a handful of us are out here talking and giving advice and trying to help people. But we need more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't have to be super successful. I think we coming back up. Okay. I love radio, man.
So she tell you when to break. Okay.
That's Nicky, my dynamite, super fantabulous engineer, and we're back on the Archie Beslow radio show with my man Mike Graham. We were just talking about before we got off the air. We was talking about that loyalty piece. Like I told Mike, when I interview people, I'm all over the place. It's a spirit thing because at the end of the day, to me, Mike Graham is great. But I also know at the end of the day that Brother Michael Graham has a lot to offer a lot of people. So I wanted to use this platform to bring Mike on so he can encourage our youngsters and our family members and even aspiring, not even just athletes, but people just aspiring to just to be something good in their lives. So another thing we want to speak on, Mike. Let me talk. Did y'all little known fact, y'all may not know, but did you guys know that in 1982 that Brother Mike was a part of the Spingarn High School Inter High Championship team? So how does that feel? So let's talk about that.
That felt really good because sort of everybody was waiting for us to do big things when I came to Spingarn. So when I got to Spingarn, I was in the 9th grade, so I had to repeat the 9th grade from Jefferson.
Okay.
So I played on the JV squad, and I guess it was for me to get the system, that Spingarn ran and everything. But come to figure out, we were like the top team in the country as far as junior varsity.
Wow.
But they had one guy in the area named Billy King that wound up going to Duke. They said that during my year, he was a top freshman, but they would never play us. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted that game, I always been up for a challenge. I don't know why, but I seem like, I love to play against guys bigger than me or have a bigger name. That's just the motivation for me. But
So you transition from, and I hope you guys are paying attention because this to me this is a legend in our midst that don't get his just due. And that's just me. That's just my own opinion. So Mike goes from winning a inter high championship from a powerhouse like a Spingarn, then going to Georgetown University. And winning the Big East and winning the national championship?
Well, let me tell you how that happened. Because originally I had signed with the University of Maryland.
Okay.
But, I heard that, that Georgetown was trying to recruit me, but I wasn't getting the letters from my coach. Oh. Yeah, so that was the issue. I would get a message, from a guy that worked in my school, that was real close to Coach Thompson. Uh-huh. And then me and Coach Thompson's nephew was best friends.
Okay.
So, I wind up watching the game in Virgin Islands. We was on a high school tournament in the Virgin Islands. So I'm watching Patrick versus Ralph. That excited me because basically, I thought that I could personally outplay both of those guys.
And you could.
I was... Well, I don't know.
That's my opinion, Slim.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
it. On the radio.
But that's the way I was thinking. These guys already in college. Right. And then I watched the game where Georgetown lost to Memphis State. And the reason why they lost to Memphis State, because they didn't have a power forward. You had all these All-Americans, and Anthony Jones and Bill Martin and everything. But you didn't have that natural power forward that just would go get it. Mm-hmm. So I changed my mind and I wanted to go there because playing with Pat Ewing, you couldn't pass that up. Yeah. So, we sort of made that happen. And when I got there during the summer as a freshman, me, Patrick, and Reggie played on a team together. We was unstoppable. So I figured, this was going to be the team going in the season in the NCAA play. Okay. But it didn't happen that way. I sat on the bench most of the time, and Reggie would play here and there. So
right. Yeah, Reggie was kind of silky smooth.
Yeah.
I was calling them the glamour dudes back in the day.
Yeah.
So how does it feel, Mike, to know that you was a part of Mr. Thompson as being the first black coach to win a D1 championship?
I think that's exciting. That's something worthwhile. I remember Coach telling the reporter in the locker room that he wasn't worried about that. You know, I think otherwise.
Isn't
You
that
know?
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
come on, you're the
That's
first black
John,
coach.
that's John Thompson.
You know,
Oh,
I mean, he's being modest about it.
Right.
You know, he cared.
Right.
I mean, we had to. I mean, we all cared. You know, me personally, I just wanted to go home because I was homesick. So, you know, yeah. And then after the lashing I got in the locker room during the Kentucky game, you know, by coach. I seemed like it singled me out. I brought you here to help Patrick, this, that, and the other, and this, and the locker room got quiet.
Right.
You know, and my mind was like, man, I'm ready to get home.
There, Allison right there.
Yeah, I'm ready to get home. So that didn't happen. So I wind up taking the frustrations out on Kentucky.
Well, you took frustrate. So, let's do that. Let's play with that word.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play with that word because, like I said, once again, this is a family, youth, community type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Frustration can be misconstrued as a negative word.
Mm-hmm.
Your frustration, and I'm gonna put two people together that I admire. I'm gonna put you with my man Dennis Rodman.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it what you guess. What Dennis Rodman did to Karl Malone every time he played, he frustrated.
Yeah, he did. He did.
So in that regard, the frustration worked in the favor of the Bulls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, Karl Malone wasn't equipped enough to work through it.
Right.
So once Dennis Rodman knew that he was in his head, he started doing all types of crazy stuff.
Yeah, tripping him up.
Everything possible. A dude because did Dennis Rodman come after you or was he before you? I'm thinking.
Well, me and Dennis Rodman, we were in Chicago camp together.
Okay.
So he came. We came out at the same time.
How was his work ethic to you, Mike? Just.
I didn't see much of him. You know,
Okay.
I spent time with Adrian Branch and those guys.
Okay,
You
I
know,
got you.
Everybody had to work in order to play up in Chicago because everybody was being looked at.
Got you.
So that was really important.
So when you did you ever have the opportunity to play against Michael, or was Michael before you, or was he after?
Michael was before me. I remember when I was playing for Phil Jackson in the CBA, we was in the Chicago airport.
Okay.
And we were on our way to some small town to play some game. And, you know, we were waiting for the flight. It was a layover. So I'm walking through the airport. I see this guy in his black leather jacket and his black bag. Said, Mike, what you doing here? And it was Michael Jordan. Man, I ran back to the guys and I said, Michael Jordan called me by my first name. You know, I just freaked out.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I was like, wow, that was something special.
So in even that, and everybody know this is a solution based show.
Mm-hmm.
For Mike Graham to be a guy of his stature, to be in awe from a Michael Jordan calling his first name,
Yeah.
that is the definition of respect.
Yeah.
Once again, we need to use our teaching tools and the tools that we have before us to teach our young kids, to give them the dynamics of what respect is, to actually let them see it in play scenarios. So that's a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
If an adult or dad or mom is listening to this show, respect somebody that's doing well.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's, I do. I mean, I be in awe when I see guys like Barkley and you know, former NBA guys. I had Charles Barkley and Rick Mahorn told me I was their favorite player. See, because after I finished playing at Georgetown, I didn't think nobody knew me or knew of me or whatever, which I really didn't care.
There you go.
You know, but it was really surprising, man. And when I had my show, talking to some people, I was really amazed how people felt about me at Georgetown and the way I played and what type of person I was. So that sort of like, you know, brought me back.
Man, that dunk you had on Houston, man, I still sit back. That was one of them. They should have had the ESPN, that sound back, that jump was a...
Yeah, I remember that. It was Ricky Winslow and Cadillac Johnson, I believe.
It's like
but Ricky Winslow, matter of fact, I talked to him probably last year. When I talked to him, I was trying to get him on my show. He said, man, why'd you do that to me? I said, what? He said that dunk, man. I was like, go ahead, man.
Slim, they weren't even close to you, though.
Yeah.
They was talking about the 5 slammer jammer, but Mike had his own Slim. You was up there.
Well, see, I sort of knew it because when we was on the floor warming up, you know, I seen all of them looking at me laughing. Everybody except for King Olajuwon. He was in the warm-up. He was in his own. But you seen all of them laughing at me and turn, you know, instead of laying it up. And I figured we already had the game.
There you go.
Yeah, we already had the game.
So again, the number is 800-450-7876, 800-450-7876. Call in and talk to my man Mike. So Mike, I want to touch on regrets, and like I tell you, my show is a solution-based show, and once again, I come from a place of all negative words are not always meant to be negative.
Right.
When some people say regrets, whenever you have talked about regrets, a person's face, their demeanor always change. Like, oh God, nah. You have to have regrets, just like anything else, to grow.
That's it.
You have to lose to grow.
Yep, exactly.
You have to be disappointed to grow.
Yep.
You feel me? So what does regrets mean to you? And it can be something that you may have regretted. It can be something that you've seen, just the masses in the world, some of the things that, generate regrets that they're not doing.
Well, I feel like the word regret, to me, that's a learning tool, because, you might regret that you've done something. Like me personally, I always regretted that I didn't stay one more year.
Okay.
I always regretted that because that would have been really, really in my benefit.
You break out, yeah.
Winning another national championship. But I figured anywhere that I went to, I was going to be that person to do it. And I wound up transferring to UDC. And before we hit the floor, we was nationally ranked. I didn't even put on a uniform yet.
Wow.
So I felt like that I was going to win another title. My whole idea, in a sense, was to stay at Georgetown. But, I got a book coming out next year.
Okay.
And it's going to explain everything. It's going to explain me in high school. It's going to explain my year at Georgetown, in the locker room, everything that took place, everything that I experienced, from my experience. Like I said, I can never be mad at Coach Thompson or Georgetown because I got the opportunity to go to school. It was up to me whether I wanted to do it.
Amen. You got it.
So therefore, that's out of the question. But I do know that, my regret is not staying that extra year to win that other national title. So the value from the whole Georgetown experience, and this is a component that a lot of our youngsters need to hold dear to. Would you look at it being Georgetown more so of a business move, a foundation of education, or you didn't know exactly what point where Georgetown was going to take you from that? And so basically what I'm trying to say, there are a lot of our kids that they know where they want to go, but they're afraid to start because they don't know what they really want. So when you got the nod to go to Georgetown, what was your level of expectations once you stepped on that campus? Well, I knew the expectation because it was really, really high. I knew that from all the interviews me and my godfather had with Coach Thompson, the people up at the school, a lot of things. I had experience where I wrote a paper at Georgetown, got an ace. I stayed up all night doing it.
Okay, amen.
Went to class, teacher claimed it was what they call it, plagiarism.
I got you, yes sir.
Yeah, but she couldn't find out where anything came from. And I worked hard on that book. So that showed me right there that, as being black and playing basketball, you was treated a certain way up at Georgetown.
That's a whole nother show.
And me personally, I always thought people say a degree is a degree. Some people that I was told now a degree ain't nothing but a piece of paper, so it don't mean anything.
But I'm gonna speak on that too.
Yeah,
keep talking.
I figured that most of the guys at Georgetown would graduate with a sociology degree. Okay. And to me, it ain't much you can do with a sociology degree. I don't care where you get it from. Right. So, in a sense, that was an issue. So it wasn't never me that, that I couldn't do the work, but like I said, I experienced a lot of things and a lot of different things that went on and players, going through the learning experience at Georgetown. And
the thing that I want to commend you on too, Mike, is, like you said, you were a part of the whole process. You was a part of coming from a Spingarn, growing up in Southeast, going to Jefferson, we all, been in the streets, and people misconstrue. Being in the streets don't always mean you was a gang member, or you was drugs. Right. Being in the street, that's our terminology, saying we was hanging out with our friends. Exactly. People misconstrue and they give that a negative tone. You grew up being in the streets. What's wrong with that? Because
there's a lot wrong with that, because that's what they used to think. Everybody I would meet up with, even some people up at Georgetown, you used to run in the streets doing this and that and the other. But they didn't know that I was always at home with a mother and 2 siblings, that didn't eat every night. That a mother, ever since I can remember, my mother never owned shoes. She always had cloth bedroom slippers and would walk on the heels of them, and snow be this high.
And still taking care of y'all.
Exactly. So, that was, to me, that was her commitment to us. No matter what happened, she didn't give up on us. So, and as I got older, started playing ball, we started getting that relationship.
And that's a valid point. Like Mike just touched on, you guys, to my listeners, the thing about commitment, foundation, structure, these are very prominent words, once again, that we're not teaching our youth. We as adults, we make those words in our youth eyes to be big words. Whereas though you can actually break those words down and actually bring change you just hit it on the head. You watching your mom wear the type of shoes that she wear, but every day she was still, even through snow, whatever, was making sure that Mike had what he needed. Yeah. So no one had to tell you about respect, your mom, because you actually watched it.
Right.
What's going on now is a lot of our adults are not showing our kids that they're struggling. Stop putting up this facade to your kids. If you're struggling, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you need to have that conversation with your kid.
Exactly. Stop going out getting them these $200 pair of shoes
that you can't afford.
That you can't afford. Stop trying to be their friend. Be their parent. That's important.
Because they're not learning to struggle, Mike.
Exactly. They don't know the struggle.
If Mike, amen, they don't know the struggle because and then the parents get into this guilt thing, Mike. If I fail my child, I'm explaining, I'm not failing you. It's just at this point in time, I don't have it.
Right, exactly.
And this is why I don't have it. And this is what you need to do to make sure that you will have it when you become an adult. And these are the conversations that we're not having. You can't have those conversations, Mike, out of anger. This has to be a sit down.
Yeah.
I ran into this situation today at work. Let's sit down and talk about it.
And that's what I noticed, that we didn't have. So I would go out and do what I had to do in order to bring something to eat back.
Right.
And that was the thing. Every time I got a little money, I would go to the grocery store. I was working as a busboy at the old flagship restaurant Southwest.
Oh man.
I was 14 years old, but I was so tall, that I went on and got the job.
Right.
And I used to eat my meals there, the little rum buns and all that.
Hey Mike, stop it.
So I used to have to eat there, and I would bring mom home some rum bums and everything, but I always had a check. And I would give her that check. It had to be to school the next morning. So yeah, man. I mean, those were the days, man.
And we gonna pick it up from the rum buns. That Mike just went way back.
Yeah, man.
Thanks again. Once again, this is Archie Beslow Radio Show, and I have my studio guest today, and I'm honored to have my man Mike from the good old Georgetown University Warriors. Wow, Mike, thank you so much, man. This is WAO 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, WODCnews.com. Information is power. This is the Archie Beslow Radio Show. Let's figure it out, and we'll be right back.
I used to throw down on this thing. Man.
But the funny thing about it, and you'll see how I'm going to flip it. These are the, once again, all right, Facebook fans, you got Yolanda said, parents nowadays need to feel okay telling their kids no, but follow up with why. That's valid.
Yeah, that is valid, and that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because of course you want to tell them something, you want to tell them the reasons so that they know. So that's a very great question.
Right. That's a good look, Yolanda.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't. What I don't like, Mike, is how you can be embarrassed to talk to things with your kids, but yet you'll talk to the outside people about inside stuff.
It happens that way. And I don't know whether it's the trust or what, but they seem like they trust somebody that they hang out with that's doing the same thing that they're doing.
Right.
So, that's where they put their trust at. But
and that same person running with their information.
Yep.
You best believe they telling everybody.
Yep.
and it's this thing that I live by now, man. I saw it on Facebook. They said build in silence, so nobody knows what to attack.
Right. Okay.
All right, we back. All right, Nick. Hey, we back. I'm in the studio with my man Mike. It's an honor. Archie Beslow got a radio show, y'all. And I get guests like Mike Graham up in my piece. You feel me? So we were just talking about, Mike was talking about working at the restaurant called Flagship. And from you Washingtonians, that's a blast from the past. Hey, Mike, everybody couldn't go up in Flagship and eat.
No. I remember me working in there, and I seen Sugar Ray Leonard and Ray Jr. in there. I went ballistic. I couldn't believe it, man. That was really something. But yeah, I was so tall that they thought I was older than what I was. So that sort of like helped me out. I never had a problem in doing anything. Even when I was at Jefferson, when I didn't want to go to class, I would always go to the Smithsonian.
Okay.
For some reason, the history and technology, the air and space, and get information there. That was my schooling.
Powerful.
But yeah, that was my schooling, and you see some kids getting off the bus and they getting these $8 hot dogs and everything. Right. And I'm like, man, you need to give up that hot dog.
Yes.
So yeah, so it was crazy. But yeah, I had fun doing it, man.
So Mike, just for my Washingtonians and even people in the DMV, we all went to the restaurants down on the wharf, and they have re-renovated the wharf. You guys have to check that out as well. But the whole thing about rum bombs, I'm tell you a story about the rum bombs. So growing up in Southeast, we just didn't have a lot.
Right.
So for whatever reason, my mom and dad had went to Flagship, and when they came back, they had this rum bun. Man, that was the best. Hey, Mike. Man, they put something special. It was something special they put in that rum bun, Slim.
Man.
Good God.
Sauce.
So we so while we on it, Mike, this we're gonna touch on this. And my thing to Mike, what does family means to you, and what can you relate to other people to make them realize the importance of families in their households?
Well, it all depends. You have some folks in your family who are always not about family, but you still got to love them just the same. That's important. We always try to do a togetherness thing, whether it's cookouts or whatever, celebrating somebody's birthday or something. We get together, find out what's going on with each other, how we can help. That's the closeness of the family,
right.
And I think that it'll be good because I know that sometimes, most all the times when I'm coaching, and you find a couple of kids in the group that you're coaching don't have a family structure at home.
That structure piece, Mike.
And they don't want to go home after practice. They want to stay with you and hang out with you.
They want the structure,
right? And go home with you or whatever. Especially if they meet your family. So I always say never deny a kid that, just like you never deny a kid food.
Right.
So that's important. And if I can help a kid or whatever, then that's what I got to do because somebody did it for me. I remember a time when we didn't have food for Thanksgiving. I can't even remember Christmas. I can't even remember us owning a home telephone.
Right.
So there's a lot right now, that I think, if kids nowadays were living back where we were, I think they'd be more grateful now. Because right now, they get cell phones. We never got a cell phone at the age of 12, 8, or whatever.
You're lucky they had a 15 cent to make the call.
Exactly. So, it's a lot of change right now, and I don't think it's for the better. We just got to go back old school, doing some old school things.
I like I talk to a lot of young men and a lot of young women do my mentoring piece, and it's as ironic. And and I always go back to my listeners. I always repeat things because I want you guys to get certain things. Kids want respect, just like adults want respect. From the time a child can open their eyes and can see what they're seeing, can realize what they're seeing, that's when respect should start. If you start teaching kids the definition of respect and showing them respect in their households, then by the time they become older, they're going to really know the meaning of respect. So there have been a lot of shootings, and I'm gonna shift gears a little bit, Mike, because I wasn't going to talk about it on this show. but just God put it on my heart to talk about it.
Okay.
There's been a lot of senseless shootings all across the country, pretty much. But I'm gonna speak about it in D.C. I'm not an expert on how to stop it. I don't even know why it's going on. I'm not going to come from a biblical standpoint on why it's coming on, and I'm not going to come from a know-it-all. But what I do know, and what I've learned from talking to young men and young ladies, Mike, kids are one conversation away from changing their lives for the betterment.
Yeah.
And it's that same kid that is going through the troubles, and we're going to go back to that frustration word, Mike. A lot of their family members are so frustrated with the kids. And whether you tell the kids you're giving up on them or not, they can see your actions that you're giving up on that kid. So as adults, we got to find a way to stay in the fight, Mike. And really help our young people to change their mindsets and their lives. And I guess, I don't know, Mike, what do you...
Well, for one, I think giving up on a kid is a no-no. That's the worst thing you can do, because you got to think, how many people could have gave up on you.
Amen.
And that's what you think about. You never give up on a kid. I had a problem. I had one problem where I played for a team overseas in Mexico. And I was staying in this Hilton hotel, had like 50 floors up. But when I would come outside, I would see kids selling chiclet gum. Some didn't have shoes. Some didn't have, pants, some didn't have shirts.
Right.
So I started every morning when I got up. I would go downstairs, collect them. It was about maybe 11, 12 of them.
Yes, sir.
Bring them all upstairs to the restaurant, feed them. I would do the same thing when I got home from practice. Take them up to the restaurant, feed them. And yeah, the president of the team and the people who ran the hotel, they gave me grief. Right. But if any two times you're going to go out there and you're going to let a kid starve, then to me, that's something wrong with our society.
It is. The biggest... Wow, Mike, that's powerful, and I'm gonna thank you for that action that you took for them young kids. The thing about our youth, and I can't say this enough. All our kids are one conversation, sometimes one hug away from changing their lives.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm talking about from the thoroughest to the roughest dude, from the thoroughest to the roughest female, because we all are emotional creatures.
Because I was like that, thought I was thorough and rough and everything. And that's how I met my godfather. You know what he did to break me in? He gave me a lollipop.
That's the smallest thing, Mike.
Gave me a lollipop and showed that he cared. That changed me completely.
I'm telling you, though.
I was like, wow, that was something, man. Yeah.
Mike, it's a lollipop. It's even when you're around a kid, edify their mom and their dad, or edify their young man, young lady. If it wasn't for your Aunt Wilma, I wouldn't be such and such and such and such. So guess what that kid gonna do? So now Aunt Wilma becomes a very important component in that child's life because somebody else edified somebody that they can actually touch.
Exactly.
We're not edifying enough people so that our kids can have the realization that we do have someone in our presence that we actually can look up to and get needed information from.
Right, that's right.
But what they see is a lot of partying, wearing the slick clothes, listening to the same music I'm listening to, and doing. So you're just like me. So now, hey, I'm all right where I'm at because you're showing me that I'm okay where I'm at.
So that's not the case.
Okay, speak on the
mic. Not the case, I mean, because I've seen a lot of guys I grew up with who, hustled and all of a sudden flashy gold money and everything. You see these kids, oh man, I want to be like so-and-so. I want to be like him, I want the car, I want this, I mean, we even had some guys back in the day when I was growing up, we used to sell papers for the Washington Star.
Okay.
And these was guys that was going to school. Because they was making that little bit of money, it was good to them. They would quit school in order to sell those newspapers.
Wow.
Okay. That was something to really think about. I mean, to me, it wasn't worth it. And these the same guys now. I seen one on South Capitol Street, and man, he has his sign up, and all of a sudden now, he's on heroin.
Right.
And he grew up with his mother being on it, and he had always made a promise that he'd never, be bothered with that drug, but it got them.
And Mike, that's another valid point. Everyone is one situation away from what they always say, Mike. You one paycheck from being homeless, or you even one situation.
Having an emergency.
Emergency.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, hey, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but you have a paycheck.
Right, exactly.
There are people out here that don't have a place to stay. They don't have shoes. Right. They don't have a person they can call.
Right.
So what we have to, and we as a people, and when I say people, I'm talking the United States of America. I don't play the color card, because all nationality and all races are going through something.
Right. Exactly.
Homelessness and drugs. It's not. I just identify one person.
And we're the richest country in the world. So why is somebody homeless?
Why they?
You know what I'm saying? Why? They might got mental illness. Because you find a lot of people with mental illness that are out on the street. But still, get them help. Get them some type of help. And
that's and then you look at, like, there are countries, Mike, that actually do the things that the people in the United States often ask why our government is not doing these things. Right. They got some cities that the streets are immaculate.
Yes.
They got some cities that don't have obesity, overly populated.
Right.
The government assistance is almost non-avoidable.
So you got Canada, got health care for everybody. So I'm like, why can't we do it?
Why can't we do it?
Right.
I am gonna give kudos to the state of Maryland. I don't know if you know, Mike, but I guess like PG Community College, they're gonna allow people to go to college for free now.
Yeah. So thanks to the governor.
And I really don't know all the insight and the information about it. And once again, even with that news, Mike, that's big news. So you would think that would be like a breaking news, a news flash type of thing, so that the mass, people can know what's actually going on with it.
Right. And Walmart doing the same thing. They only charging $1 a month. If you're working for Walmart, you want to go back to school, they're paying for it, but they only charge you $1 a month. I mean, you can't beat that. Right, yeah.
And see, that's my first time hearing that, right?
Yeah.
And these are the things. There are a lot of things that are out here, but once again, and I always talk about family meetings, Mike. You need to once a week. I say once a week now. To have a family meeting with your kids or whomever, so that y'all can actually map out the week.
Right. And
if kids start seeing that you're involved with them mapping out the week, and you assisting, even the kids assisting the adults in mapping out their week.
Right.
So now that's structure, Mike. That's starting the foundation.
Exactly.
Because right now they just know to get up, go to school, eat.
That's it. And if they got to practice on something like soccer or whatever, then that's it. Yeah.
And that structure becomes a force structure. Yep. That's not a learning structure.
That's a force structure.
That's a force structure.
Right.
So again, the number is we're running out of time, man. The number is 800-450-7876. 800-450-7876. I'm on the air with my man Michael Graham. Georgetown, to me, is a Georgetown legend. He was one of the dudes I idolized coming up. Man, I used to sit, man, when you used to come out the game and sit on the bench, I'd be like, man, no, I didn't take Mike out, man. I'm that dude. I'm throwing my pillow, man. I'm kicking the coffee table. Mike just got 4 boards back to back, man. Come on, man. So, Mike, for the people, man, and you can word it however you want to word it, what would be your storybook ending?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be successful. That's all I want to be in life. I'm always that way. I always put helping people first. I was told a lot that sometimes I could overdo it. I've been told that with my wife, with my former college coach, that I'm not selfish enough. But like I said, that's not me for some reason. But I always figure out God got a plan for me, no matter what other people might do. Amen. By me helping them, whether they hurt me for helping them, but that's on them. That's what they got to live with. So,
Amen.
Yeah, I'm not changing.
Well, so from this day forward, we're gonna we adopted family members. I'm saying it. Look, I'm saying it on the live air. so we're gonna do like we used to do back in there. I'm gonna get a pen. I'm gonna poke my finger.
Blood brothers.
Me and Mike will be blood brothers. So Mike, what's just a little off tilted here? Who was one of the unsung athletes, and it could be any sport, Mike, that you kind of look up to that the world don't really talk about? It could be basketball, football, you name it. Who's one of a person that caught your eye and you was like, wow?
Well, I remember I met quite a few people in my life that really caught my eye and made a difference in my life. You know, I remember, you know, me basketball. I mean, the principal in my junior high school, Mr. Campbell, done everything for me, you know, in order to get me together. We used to go to Bullets games when they was the Bullets. I remember Elvin Hayes hitting me in my chest. You know, I remember me first time meeting John Lucas. He was playing tennis on the playground at Jefferson Junior High.
Yes, sir.
And I took his tennis rackets. You know, I mean, it's a lot of things, you know. I played for Cassie Russell, Henry Bibby, Phil Jackson. So, you know, JoJo White was my first agent.
JoJo White,
you know, I've been blessed just to meet those people, to travel. You know, I might not be the big time NBA star, but I'm satisfied with my life. I'm productive, you know. I have my master's and my bachelor's, so you know I'm blessed, man.
All right, well, that's right. Hey, like my man, that's my idol, right on cue. So, Mike, on behalf of the Archie Beslow Radio Show, Let's Figure It Out, I want to thank you, and I'm forever grateful that you took the time out to come on my show, man.
Hey, man, thank you.
And I can say as a male to male, I love you. As a person,
thanks,
as one of God's kids, and I love you for what you are doing and the impact that you've had not only on my life, but everyone else that came before me.
Thank you, man.
All right. So once again, another great show. Hey, live in the flesh, my man Mike Graham in the house. We'll be back next week. Every Sunday, you guys can catch me 6 to 7 p.m. on the Archie Beslow Radio Show. I want to thank God. I want to thank my mom and dad. I want to thank my family. I want to thank everybody that supports me. God loves you, and so do I. Again, this is WL 95.9 FM, 1450 AM, WLDCnews.com. Information is power. This is the Archie Beslow Radio Show. See you next week. And that's a wrap. Tell the people about Mike.
When someone hears the words, you have to.
All right, we signing out, man. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Facebook family. Thank you all for supporting me. Hey, without y'all, it wouldn't be no me. I'm forever grateful, and I'm just thankful, man. I'm a happy dude. I'm blessed on so many fronts, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.